Hello and welcome back together to my weekend report on the financial markets. We will discuss today S&P 500 index, US oil, gold and Bitcoin. We are price action on the weekly, daily and 4-hour time frame so that you know what to do in the markets the week ahead. Let's start with the S&P 500 on the weekly. Here you can see that the market is printing new all-time highs, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and keeps doing that like a good uptrend should look like. MACD has slightly divergence to price action, so that could mean that we will see a top the next days or weeks, but I think that will happen after the American election, if it happens. Maybe it takes even a bit more time on the weekly. That's not always accurate. Let's drop to the daily time frame. Here you can see the daily white solid uptrend line moving higher here, and that we haven't broken it yet. So after exceeding the last double top here to the upside, we made the first setback to this level. Resistance came support, price moved again up, and now we are retracing a second time. And I think that we will see from there on the next impulse to the upside into the take profit slightly below the 6,000 point mark. That's where I would go out of this long trade and maybe wait for a little bit of cool down, a setback again in price before taking maybe the next long trade in this really positive market. What's not allowed to happen, I don't want to see price decline below the last low here, because higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low is absolutely fine for an uptrend, but changing from that to a lower high and lower low, that would be bad. So price below this point or this daily support and resistance zone here is bad, and I think that if that happens, I will get taken out of my trade. I already moved the stop loss to my entry level, so I will not lose much on this trade. And then maybe a little bit more declining, even all the way back probably to this second daily support and resistance zone here. I could well imagine that if we lose this support here with a daily close. Let's drop to the 4-hour time frame. There's nothing special to add, only that we probably had the second top here, and that could well be the end of this smaller correction, but maybe it will exceed a little bit. It can go a little bit lower, I have no problems with that, but hopefully not lower than this daily support and resistance zone. Yeah, that's it for S&P 500. I'm still bullish. You should be too, until price tells you otherwise. And I think we will all survive this election. Just stay calm and do what price tells you, not what news or politics are telling us or want to tell us. Yeah, that's it with S&P 500. Let's switch to US oil. Oil starting also off at the weekly time frame. We have this red solid monthly downtrend line. That one got broken to the upside. After that, we went into a weekly consolidation supported by the 200 moving average. That one turned against us, and since then is resistance, so declining prices, even if we got a break of this orange weekly downtrend line to the upside. Maybe that will get important later in a couple of weeks or next year for potentially higher prices, and I stay that opinion until I see prices decline below this weekly support and resistance zone, because then we would have to move this trend line connecting the new highs of this trend. Let's drop to the daily time frame. So you can see this wonderful daily triangle formation that got broken to the downside, and after such a break to each side, it's expected that price action in this direction will follow. So I profited a little bit from price declining here, and here then we got a retest to the middle point of this triangle, matching this 200 moving average, and got rejected here. And then I got a trading idea on the 4-hour time frame last week, because we had this daily white solid downtrend line that got broken to the upside. Then we made an A, B, C correction, and so I was able to draw this 4-hour to the downtrend line here. We got a break of that one, a retest, and then a higher high, and I went long on the idea that we will see rising prices, and the stop loss with only a small risk of 0.5% of my account balance got placed below point C here. And yeah, I got into this trade with maybe 1 pip or so in my entry zone, and then price immediately turned against me and printed here a lower low. So I was expecting higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and higher low, but that was a lower low. So I was exiting the trade manually, so not a full stop loss of 0.5%, but instead was $350, so 0.35% of my account balance. Not much of a deal, but yeah, it was a try. It failed, and I was getting out immediately after I realized that my initial trading idea wasn't valid anymore. That's good risk management. Yep, that's it for US oil, because I don't think that it will take a trade the next week here, because things are a little bit unclear, and we also got the election going, and no, that's not next week. Sorry for that. It will take the next week, and afterwards the week it will happen. Yeah. Yeah, you could well trade this again to the upside if you see a high, but I got trapped once here. I don't think I want to get twice there. I think the most probable move that oil will take is that, because that one here failed, that we will see another decline, maybe back to this 4-hour blue dotted uptrend line that's already connected by these 2 points. Maybe a third point would make it even more valid, and or maybe also around this daily downtrend line here, or retest even the lows, make here a double bottom, and from there rise. But we will see, and I will update you on my next report. But before that, let's switch to gold against the US dollar. Gold on the weekly time frame. I think Elon Musk would be proud about this rocket here. Since we have made it above this often tested weekly resistance zone, we went straight to the moon. Had a small correction in there, but then continued the way up. The MACD indicator, like mentioned the last couple of times, is really stretched to the upside on the weekly. And normally after such a stretched weekly MACD indicator, there has to follow somewhere soon a correction. But it wasn't last week. Maybe it will be next week. We will see. On the daily time frame, a little bit more detail to that. We have an intact daily uptrend line, a solid one, like a secondary that got a little bit steeper than the previous one. And yeah, we're making higher highs. Also, the MACD has done that. Higher high, low, higher high, low, higher high, low. And now price made higher high, but MACD hasn't made a higher high. It made a lower high. That is a divergence in the MACD indicator to price, and could mean that we will have seen the top or are near the top, and we will see soon a decline in price, a healthy correction, nothing more than that. If we, you can take this arrow, red arrow here, as one that's asking if it's the red arrow, but there's some likelihood that it is. At the 4-hour time frame, you can see my trading idea. I set it up already last week, but it got triggered. I also updated on my idea page on TradingView. If you're interested, you can follow me there for maybe some updates during the week if I have time for it. My idea was, we have broken this 4-hour uptrend line here. Good move to the downside, and we made a trace back. And my idea was, if we see a lower low after that here, break, lower high, lower low, would mean we are in a downtrend. I would enter the trade to the short side, and stop loss would be placed above the last all-time high, with a risk reward of probably 0.5%, because it's a risky trade, because never bet against the trend, and I'm exactly doing that. So be cautious if you do something like it, and don't risk too much. Otherwise you will burn your fingers. And here we got an A, B, C correction. That could mean that we will see another all-time high, or that if we break it, this was the full correction, and the break below that could mean that this will get a valid trade. And I placed my take profit 1.5 risk reward ratio far away from it, so well above the secondary daily dotted uptrend line, and I think that one would act as support if price gets there. So I don't want to adjust it lower, because I would expect a bounce there. Yeah, that's my trading idea for gold. If we see higher highs, good for the long-term investors and my long-term portfolio as well, but not for my short-term trading here. Then I'm not on board. I can't trade this further to the upside, because I think the risk is too high because of a couple of signs: MACD divergence, stretched MACD at the weekly time frame, price far away from 200 moving average on the daily. I think the chance is really good that we will see a correction. yeah, because of that, no long trades, only a short trade opportunity. You don't have to do that as well. I just wanted to inform you about my strategy here. That's it for gold. Let's switch to Bitcoin. Bitcoin also here at the weekly time frame. We will soon drop to daily and 4-hour. Don't worry. Here on the MACD indicator, you can see that the MACD indicator on the weekly crossed already the second week to the upside into green area, what means we should see sooner or later a break to the upside out of this downtrend formation here. Let's drop to the daily time frame. Here we can see this nice price channel. Bitcoin has moved inside since a couple of weeks and months, and we have finally broken out of it and are retesting currently to it. MACD indicator is crossing to the downside, could mean that this correction here, the retest will take a little bit longer and go maybe a little bit deeper. I think a good place where it could go is this daily uptrend line here, that we will see somewhere there support and the ending of this correction, or even all the way to this middle line of the price channel, daily support and resistance zone, the low 60s. And from there on, an end of the correction, maybe ABC formation again and a break to the upside. And finally, let's have a look at 4-hour time frame. Here you can see what I'm thinking short term, and also about possible trading setups for the week ahead. We had this mainly daily trend change from higher highs and higher lows to lower highs and lower lows. But this is at the moment the retest trend line, because we haven't been able to make a lower low. Otherwise I would have moved it like this. And yeah, so I have still the hope, would be my favorite scenario, that we have seen wave A, wave B, and that wave C is still to finalize, and that it will go a little bit deeper, maybe to this 4-hour support and resistance zone, or even a combination of it takes a little bit longer with this daily dotted secondary uptrend line here. Because then I could move this here like this, and the break above this ABC correction to the upside would be a tradable event with the stop loss below point C. But that's dreaming right now till we see it. So that's the reality. Back to reality. If we see a break above the last high here after the breakout, I would probably take a trade, even if it's not my favorite scenario. Take a trade and free a little bit above this high here, and stop loss below the low, and from there on a good risk reward ratio. I don't know, I would expect after that a real breakout, probably risk reward ratio of, well, it's not enough. Risk reward ratio of 2 to 1 or something like that, close to $80,000. I think if we see a break, that's nothing to fear or spectacular. I would say it's even a normal behavior of price, because the all-time high was, what was it, 73,000, so only 7,000 more for Bitcoin. Nothing. And yeah, that would be the trading setup probably, but my favorite scenario would be another low, an A, B, C correction. That would be picture perfect, and I would love to read that one, because otherwise I'm not sure if I get stopped out of this trade. So maybe not the full risk of 2% I'm taking with good trading setups, or maybe only 1%. 0.5 would be probably not enough for me in this case, because I expect that it will be a massive move. So I don't want to take part of this move with not enough capital on board. So yeah, a little bit tricky, but we'll see what price gives us and react accordingly. Like I said, I sometimes post something on my TradingView. Next weekend, no real update on my channel here, because I'm on vacation in Lisbon and the wonderful Portugal land. And yeah, I will be not able to make a video for you. Maybe short updates on my TradingView page. I will see, like I come to it. Till then, boys and girls, have a great week. We will see us after my vacation. Bye bye.